Hello, and thank you for joining me on this tutorial to download and install Apica ZebraTester for Mac OS X. So within the Apica knowledge base, you can find the ZebraTester documentation and links to install the ZebraTester kit for Windows, Mac, and Linux. Now for installing on Mac, there's some special install instructions because of some limitations within installing software from the internet onto Mac OS X Catalina. And Caleb, one of our support engineers, has a really good community article with steps on how to do this. But I'm going to walk through this with us right now. So once we've downloaded the zip file, I'm going to open up my downloads folder here. I'm going to unzip this. And you'll see that if I try to open this, it's not going to allow me to open the installer. Even if I right click and click open, I'm still going to reach this error. And the way to get around this and to allow the installation of this package is to right click, show package contents, open contents, open Mac OS, and here we have a text file, ZBA55Z. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my terminal and I'm going to type chmod +x with a space after it, and then drag this file up into the terminal to populate. And then I'm going to hit enter. You'll notice that this file changed from a text file to Unix executable. That means that it worked. I'm going to close my terminal. We're done with that. And then back up to my downloads folder where I have this installer. Now I may need to right click and use open, and I may need to do it twice. So once it's going to tell me that this is from an unknown developer, that is okay. And all right, the second time is a charm. The open dialog is now there for us. So I'm going to click open. I'm going to minimize my downloads folder. And from here, you see the little icon bounce, good to go. All right. So from here, we can read along. We're going to hit next. We're going to accept the end user license agreement to proceed with the installation. Click next. It's going to pick a folder inside of our applications folder on our hard drive. That's okay. If you have other versions of ZebraTester, you might want to choose other files, but I'm not going to change anything. This is going to be a fresh install. I'm going to hit next. I'm going to leave these settings and hit next. And then I'm going to click install. So this should go pretty quickly for me. If you're installing ZebraTester for the very first time, I've seen it be slow in some cases, but usually should go pretty quickly. So once the installation completes, you're going to get a pop-up that has license information in it. Everything is okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change to my time zone, change to my number format of having the commas at the bottom. I'm used to seeing that. And then you're going to get a GUI key and an empty agent license key, and that's okay. You can use the temporary key just fine. So we're going to hit apply. Make sure that you find that window because sometimes it hides behind others, and then continue next, 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 done. And now the ZebraTester installation is complete. Next, we will begin with the post-installation steps, including creating a root certificate in the ZebraTester folder, allowing that root certificate on your system and within Firefox, and finally, opening and testing our installation of ZebraTester. To record with the proxy recorder, we will need to allow a certificate authority on the system so that the proxy recorder can work properly. To do that, I'm going to open up my applications. I'm going to scroll to the bottom where ZebraTester is. Make this larger. And then within our runtime data folder, I'm going to open that. There's a command here to create our own root certificate. We're going to double click that. And it's going to open my terminal again. And I'm going to hit enter to continue. All right. So this, we're just going to be creating the namespaces within this certificate. So you can fill this out however makes sense to you. I'm in Apica, it's my company, department SRE or SE at Apica Systems. root.com, Santa Monica, California, US. And then naming the certificate, I'm going to call this ZebraTester root certificate authority. That should be good enough. Sometimes I like to denote it. I'm going to call this ZebraTester 55Z is the version, root certificate authority, and hit enter. So you can see that the root certificate was generated. Make sure you see this to ensure that the certificate was installed correctly. Next, this root.sir was just installed. What we're going to do is we're going to double click it, and we're going to add this to our keychain. I have a fingerprint scanner. You may need to type in your password. You can see here when I open up my system certificates, we have this ZebraTester 55Z. It's currently not trusted. So what we're going to do is we're going to double click this, drop down our trust, and say always trust. I can then close this, re-enter my password or scan my fingerprint, and now we can see that that little icon has changed from a red X to a blue plus. So we're now good with our certificate installation. So we're good now to record from Google Chrome. However, we really recommend using Firefox, where the proxy settings are localized to the Firefox browser, but it's completely on preference to you. Since the certificates and proxy settings are local to Firefox, what I'm also going to do is open up the preferences, search for certificates, view certificates, and then I'm going to import that root.sir that we were just looking at. So I want to make sure I'm in the right folder. I'm going to go to applications. I have other versions of ZebraTester, and I want to make sure I'm pulling the right one. Runtime data and root.sir. Then I'm going to check trust, okay, okay, and now that is a completed ZebraTester installation. To test the installation, what we can do is open up our applications, go back to our ZebraTester folder, and start the ZebraTester console. Now, since this is a brand new installation, I'm going to drag this onto my taskbar and open up my ZebraTester console. It's going to start up. And what I'm waiting for and looking for is I'm looking for to make sure that Apica ZebraTester is ready. And there we go. The Apica ZebraTester is ready, and the admin GUI is now ready to access. So I'm going to copy this address. Now I can't right click it, so I'm going to Apple C, and then I'm going to open up my Google Chrome and paste that address into the address bar. And it looks like that Apica ZebraTester is open and working. I'm going to turn off the overlay, and everything should be good to go. Next will be to test to make sure that the proxy recorder is working. To make sure the proxy recorder is working, I'm going to head back over to Firefox. I've added the Apica ZebraTester recorder plugin here. This makes life very, very easy. I'm going to start recording and go to a website. Let's go to Bing, or let's go to apica.io and test that. And I want to point out, you can see that in the bottom left-hand side, you can see that there's sites loading there. There's URLs coming in. The very first time you visit a site recording with ZebraTester, it's going to be generating these certificates for that site, since the recorder is sitting as a man in the middle, catching all of the traffic over the wire. And you can see that it's listened to 52 items in the recorder here. And when you look at this plugin, it gives you a good status to make sure that the proxy server is pointed to ZebraTester. If I were to stop recording, it would say original settings. If I turn it back on, it's pointing to ZebraTester. We can see that it's working properly. Lastly, I'm going to head back over to where I have the main menu and hit refresh. And then we'll see all of the URLs that have been loaded. I'm going to filter just on apicasystems.com, for example. And yes, we have a successful installation, a installed root certificate for recording, and we've allowed that both on our system and within Firefox as a recording browser. Thank you for following along, and I wish you happy scripting with ZebraTester.